Apha's assassin mate.
Chapter 1. New Target. Harsh rain slapped against the window as lightning flashed, followed by the roaring of thunder. The perfect opportunity for murder.
No, wait please, I beg you.
A kneeling man begged as a lean figure clad in black slowly approached him, like a predator stalking prey. A sword being unsheathed sounded loudly despite the weather, making the kneeling man quake.
No, please, I'll give you everything you want. Money? I have lots of them. How about a trade? I'll give you money. You let me go? Please, I'll do anything.
The man begged, but that only angered the figure further. My name is Bethany Lloyd. Before the man can even scream, the figure was already in front of him, the sword slashed in a downward arc. And I'm an assassin. Bethany sighed through her nose. She flicked her blonde hair out of her face while glaring at the now dead, greedy man, whose mouth was open with a silent scream. She rolled her eyes while thinking, when will they realize that begging never helps? You'll always reap what you sow. She walked towards the window, avoiding the dead bodies crowding around the window. She jumped out of the window and disappeared through the heavy rain. Even if she heard a horrifying scream rang through the night, she never once gave a glance. Bethany pushed open the main door of her house and saw a man sitting on the couch, looking through some paper. "Evening, Harry," she said to the man.
A successful mission, I presume?
The man, Harry, said while reading the papers. "Come on, give me some credit. Since when did I ever fail you, dear uncle?" she asked with a cheeky grin.
Rome.
Harry snorted. Bethany huffed. "One time, and you never stop reminding me of it. I was 13. Harry chuckled as he put away the papers.
Someone has to remind you of it. I'm your uncle. It's my duty to embarrass you. There's pizza on the counter, by the way.
"Pizza!" she cheered and jogged to the counter.
Leave some for your brother.
He yelled after her. "No promises," Bethany said, mouth full of pizza. Harry gave her a look. "What? You know he can just run to the nearest pizza store and buy another one," she said and reached for her second slice. Harry just sighed and walked away, so it's just Bethany herself and pizza. By the time her brother came back, a quarter of the pizza's already gone.
I'm home.
He yelled. "We know, Sebastian, you're loud without doing anything," she yelled back. He snorted and jumped over the couch towards the counter.
Hey sis, didn't know you. Is that pizza?
He asked as he saw Bethany stuffing her face with pizza. No, she said with an innocent look.
Well, don't you want to share it?
He asked, and she shook her head as she grabbed another slice.
Hey, leave some for me,
he said, and tried to snatch the pizza box from her. "There's still some left. I just ate a quarter of it," she said as Sebastian successfully snatched it away from her.
You pomba,
he said sourly. Bethany just rolled her eyes at her brother. "I'm going to take a shower," I said and walked away. I was halfway up the stairs when Harry called out.
After you bathe, both of you, come back down. I have another mission waiting for you,
he said, and I continue my way back up. After Bethany and Sebastian bathe, they wait for Harry in the living room.
Here.
Harry walked over, gave them 2 files. Bethany pulled out her papers and read them out loud. "Randolph Stoner," she mumbled.
That's your next target's name, dum-dum,
Sebastian said while pulling his papers out. Bethany glared at him as he smiled innocently back. He turned back to his papers and raised his brow when he read them.
Huh? Ramona Stoner?
He said. "Yeah, that's your next target's name, dum-dum," Bethany copied him. Then he copied me by glaring back at me. Wait. Randolph Stoner. Ramona Stoner. Wait a minute. Bethany looked at Harry. Our new targets are siblings? What kind of people want us to assassinate a pair of siblings? Jealous much? She asked as Harry nodded.
A pair of twins, to be exact. Look, they were born in the same year, month, and date.
Sebastian said.
That information is classified, not the twin part.
Harry said.
Why?
Sebastian said.
As I said, classified.
Harry said.
But I can tell you one thing.
He said, leaning closer. Bethany and Sebastian also leaned closer to him.
It's a Mission S.
He said, and leaned back.
Mission S? That means...
Sebastian's voice trailed off and turned to his twin. The targets are not humans, but shifters. Bethany continued for him while looking at the wolf on the papers. After the briefing, Bethany was in the weapon room packing her daggers and swords. After a few minutes, Sebastian joined her. While Bethany's weapons were swords type, Sebastian's were gun types. They were packing their weapons because Harry said that they need to go undercover to get closer to their targets. Since their targets are not humans, they need to be extra careful. Sebastian plopped his bag beside mine, checking through his guns and packing them silently. Ever since Harry told them that their targets are creatures, Sebastian's been acting strange. Finally, Bethany can't take it anymore. She slammed her dagger on the table and turned to him. "Okay, spit it out," she asked. He sighed as he put down his shotgun, not looking at her.
Do you think we can pull this off?
He said, and she looked down. The truth is, she doesn't know either. When we were 6 years old, their parents died, was murdered in front of their very own eyes, by something they have never seen before. Something unhuman. A shifter. He turned into a gigantic wolf before them and attacked their parents. Their parents were very strong people, both physically and mentally. If their parents can't even defeat that one shifter, how can they with two? Bethany's face softened and put a hand on his shoulder. "I don't know, but we can always try, right?" she said.
Yeah.
He said hesitantly. "What's our motto?" she asked. He smirked.
We are unstoppable. We are fearless. 'Cause we are fear.
"You got that right," Bethany said with a wicked smile. "Come on, let's finish this up and hit the sack early." Sebastian nodded, and they went back to packing their bags with more faith in themselves. Next morning, 5 a.m. When Bethany woke up this morning, Harry told her to wear something less black. Something about not giving a scary vibe to the students. She groaned and went to the deepest part of her closet, where she never touched in a long time. When she reached the back of her closet, she pulled out a box and opened it, then poured all the clothes out. She picked out a few clothes and went to get ready. After she finishes her morning routine, she put on a long-sleeve red shirt with a huge love written on it, skinny jeans, a black beanie, and a pair of black sneakers. She frowned at her reflection, because after her parents' death, she never wore anything else than black. She sighed. God, she missed them. She shook off that thought and grabbed her backpack and the other bag full of weapons, turned off the light, then went downstairs to meet Harry and Sebastian. She dropped her bags at the living room couch and walked into the kitchen.
Wow. You looked normal.
Sebastian said. Bethany crossed her arms and raises a brow at him. She scanned him from head to toe. He was wearing a gray, baggy sweater with a blue button-down shirt inside, dark blue jeans, and a pair of army boots. "Thanks, you too," she said, and sat down beside him.
So which town you were going to unleash us at?
Sebastian asked once Harry sat down opposite of them.
Both of you are going undercover in this school.
Harry said, and gave them each a file.
All the things are settled. The schedules and locker's number for both of you are in there, and
He checked his watch.
you'll be leaving in 10 minutes, so make sure you got everything. Weapons, clothes, and others, and school starts at 9.
They both nodded and opened their files. Harry smiles and walks out of the kitchen. Then he poked his head in.
Oh, and you need to find a house on your own because I forgot to rent one.
With a smile, he poked his head back. They rolled their eyes and poured out their documents. As Harry said, there's a paper with their schedule and locker pin on it, but there's another paper. Curious, Bethany picked up the paper and read it. "Winterville High School?" she said out loud.
Is it just me, or does the school name sound familiar?
She heard Sebastian ask while looking through his copy of documents. Bethany hummed. It does sound familiar, she said, and looked at the time and cursed. Shit, we're gonna be late, she exclaimed, and quickly put all the documents back into the file and stuffed it into her backpack. She carried both her bags and rushed out of the house and ran towards her Chevrolet Corvette Z06. But when I tried to open the door, locked. She tried fishing out her car keys from the bag and groaned when she can't find it. Then she smacked her forehead when she remembers she saw the keys on the table when she rushed out. She dropped all her stuff and ran back to the house, which earned a curious look from Sebastian when she ran past him. She opened the front door and immediately saw it on the living room table. She grabbed it and was going to rush out again, but stopped when she remembered she forgot to inform Harry that they're going. Being the lazy girl that she is, she shouted from the living room, "Harry, we're off!" she shouted, and waited for his reply. When she heard him give her a weak,
"Yep,"
she was off. When she reached the car, she saw Sebastian smirking at her. He was going to open his mouth to say something, but she beat him to it. "Did you forget the keys again?" "Yes, I did, so just shut the hell up and get in the car," Bethany growled, opening the driver's seat door, throwing all her bags on the back seat, and got in the car. She heard him let out a chuckle, and the passenger seat's door opened. He poked his head in and threw all his bags on the back seats, and got in himself. Then they're off. From the window, Harry was watching them depart with a frown. When he saw them drove away, he sighed.
Oh, look at you. All sad and lonely. Miss them already?
He heard a voice mocked.
Don't test me, Damien.
Harry said. Harry heard him scoff.
Right. Are you trying to forget, or is it just your age catching up?
Damien said.
What do you want, Damien?
He said, watching his reflection from the window, and saw no reflection.
Boss ordered me to check on you.
He said.
For what?
He asked, turning around to face a smirking Damien.
To see if you were following orders.
He said, still smirking. Harry scoffed. Then he turns back to look out of the window.
You know, the boss asked for you to assassinate the twins. Why did you say you want your nephew and niece to do it?
He asked.
That's none of your business.
He spat. Damien clicked his tongue.
Well, look at you, all caring and stuff.
He said, and took a step closer.
The legendary man who was once called the Beast of Morton.
He took one more step closer. From the corner of Harry's eye, he saw a crossbow sitting on the nightstand.
The man who shows no mercy, no weakness, no love, until one day.
Damien said, and stopped walking when he's too close for Harry's comfort.
Tell me, how's Sheridan?
Damien whispered behind Harry's ears. Then all Harry saw was red. He moved so fast that Damien didn't even know what's happening before he was shot with an arrow. Damien clutched his chest and shot Harry a glare. The area around the arrow was turning gray. Harry lowered the crossbow.
Like I said.
Harry glared back. He squatted down.
Don't test me.
He slammed the crossbow onto Damien. Damien screeched before bursting into a blast of shadows. Silver can't kill Damien's kind, but it sure can give them a major injury. They'll turn into a shadow and return to whatever hellhole they crawled out from. He sighed and threw away the crossbow.
Stay safe.
Harry silently prayed for the twins.